Hello and welcome to my channel. This is the fourth in my Halloween 2017 series of cards, and this card went together really easy because the design utilizes pre-made stickers. The little witch's hat, the vampire, the cat, and the monster are all stickers that I got from I think it was either Walmart or Joann's, but you can easily obtain really cute stickers even from the dollar store, which I hit up all the time for stickers. So the materials are very minimal other than the stickers, and you can recreate this design with whatever stickers that you had available. And I'm going to show you how to make this die cut, but if you didn't have this die cut, you could recreate it using your paper trimmer. You just would need to do a little bit of measuring. Alright, let me clear this away and show you the materials that I used to create the card. First, the papers. I need a card base cut 8.5 by 4.5, 5.5, scored at 4.25. I have a white panel cut 5.25 by 4. A black panel also 5.25 by 4. And I have a burgundy mat also cut 5.25 by 4. I have a piece of Halloween paper which is cut 4 by 3. This is trimmed down from a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So you could get quite a few of this card design from one 12 by 12 sheet of paper. I'm going to be using Versafine Onyx Black ink, and I'm going to be using a metal frame die. But as I said, if you don't have this die, you could use your paper trimmer to cut the shapes out that you need. It's just a little tricky. I'm going to be using some generic Halloween stamps that I have. I'm going to use this guy here. And these are the stickers that I'm using. I have stickers for the witches hats, and stickers for the little characters for the front. I know I got this at Walmart. I'm not sure about this one, but that I know I got from Walmart. You can check the dollar stores for stickers because these can be very expensive over time, especially if you go to the craft stores. In the dollar store, you can get some really nice stickers of all different types, occasions, and it's $1. You can get large sheets of stickers, and some of them are three-dimensional, some are not, as these are not. But it's really a good bargain hunter's tool, and I highly recommend you use it. Because I'm going to be doing a little bit of embossing, I need my embossing buddy. And I also forgot I need a piece of vellum. This is 4.25 by 1.5. And I'll be using a little bit of foam tape. And that's it, I think. Quickly glance around. Oh, I forgot the stamp. This stamp, which is, I want to say Studio G. It says Halloween. Alright, let me clear this away and start into how to create the card. The first thing I'm going to do is the embossing on the vellum because I want to be sure that this has time to dry. So I'll be doing the clear over black technique, which I've illustrated many times now. But I have my clear embossing powder ready to go, and I'm going to use my Versafine. When you stamp on vellum, it can be really messy. You can use StazOn and it won't smear, but I tend to avoid StazOn because I don't like staining my stamps or going through a lot of trouble to clean it. So this technique works just fine. So you carefully stamp, and when you stamp on vellum, it's a slick surface. So the stamp sometimes slides around, so you have to be really careful when you stamp. So straight down and hold it in place and try to do somewhere in the middle to let the ink transfer, and then straight up. Now this is very wet. If you were to touch it now, it would smear all over the place. So just strip it right into the clear embossing powder, and I probably should have run all over this with my embossing tool so that the clear didn't stick where I didn't want it to, and it did stick all over the place. Where's my paintbrush? So if that happens, just take a paintbrush and wipe the little parts that you don't want away carefully so that you don't wash away what you do need to stay put. Okay, just give me a second with this. But this is very staticky, so we really should run the embossing buddy over it to make sure that this does not happen to you. Okay, but as you see, it just took a second. So set that down carefully, and it is still wet even though it's covered with embossing powder. I'm going to bring in my embossing tool, and the trick on heating vellum is to let your tool get really hot before you bring it in, and then keep it moving. Just emboss a little bit, take it away, emboss a little bit, take it away. So I'm not going to slow this part up because I want you to see the whole technique of how to do it. So heat up my gun and get it really piping hot. I think that's enough. So you just go over it and take it away a little bit more and take it away, and you see how fast it's going. And this will keep it from warping. And this is the same technique you'd want to do if you were embossing over acetate. Okay. Easy as that. Nothing to be afraid of. So I'm going to take this and let it sit aside and dry thoroughly before I move on to that. Now I'm going to take the black mat and take it off camera and run this through my Big Shot and cut this out. Be right back. Okay, now that die cut gives me a frame, which I'm not using for this card, and 3 squares and a rectangle. Let's just punch those out. So set this aside. If you were careful when you line this up, you could use this frame for another card, and I was very careful. And of course you can use these shapes for something else. So don't throw that away. You know how it is. Save, be frugal. So this is the part that we need. Set that aside. So there's probably an easier way to assemble this card, but I have found that when I put little pieces like this together, sometimes they don't line up the way I want. So I'm going to adhere this to the mat and then adhere this on top. Okay, before I do that, I want to add a little bit of coloring to this vellum. So I have 2 distress markers, Aged Mahogany and Forest Moss, and I'm going to color the letters inside. The best way to color vellum is to color from the back side. So I'm going to turn it around and just straight color the letters, alternating the colors. And you see this goes extremely fast because this is a new marker and it's got plenty of ink in it. Same thing for this one. Okay, I think I missed a little bit there. Okay, this just takes a second to dry. And you can see the colors. It doesn't show up very well on the camera, but it's good. So now that's done, I'm going to start assembling the card. And the front of the card is very simple, so I'm just going to let the video run, play some music, and you can watch me put it all together. I'm going to do some watercoloring on the inside. So I have my water pen and some watercolor pencils. So with watercoloring, you start with the light color. You go all over your area with the light color, and then you start from the left and the right with the next color up, the medium shade, and then you go along the left edge with the darker shade, and as you blend it out, it automatically will add the necessary shading that you want. So I'm going to illustrate on this pumpkin. I only have 2 shades of orange, so I'm going to go all over with the lightest orange. And also these pumpkin bits here. And now I'm going to take the darker orange and lightly go over it from the left edge. And I'm also going to try to highlight the edges of the circle, the black lines here. And then I'm also going to give a little bit of attention to the right side, and this will have the inside area will be lighter than the edges, and across the top. Now that I have that, I'm going to go again, and this time I'm going to add a little bit more pressure so then it seems darker. So this gives me my 3 shades, and I need a little bit more medium, so again a little bit lighter and a little bit darker along the edge here, and also over here and a little bit here. Okay, now bring in my water pen and paper towel. Start the water flowing and just smooth it out. Now this is regular cardstock. This is not watercolor paper, so you have to be careful not to add too much moisture because the paper will peel, and you don't want that to happen. So there we go. Instant shading. Okay, let me do the rest of the card assembly now. And that's the finished card. I realized as I was putting this together that I was not as careful as I should have been with this adhesive, so it shows on this piece of paper. So I'm going to make this again, and I'm not going to make that same mistake. As you see, I didn't in the prototype. Also, the sticker, I wanted it to have a little bit of dimension, so I used the embossing buddy and took the stickiness off of the back, and then I was able to just pop it up on foam tape and make it stick straight up. So that's a little trick you can do with the flat stickers. In any case, thanks for watching. This is, as I said, the fourth in this series. There will be a couple of more in my Halloween series, and then I'm going to move on to other card designs for you. Thanks for watching. I'd like to thank my brother for the music that he's been providing for my cards, and especially for the Halloween series. It's been really spooky and appropriate, and I've loved it. I'd like to encourage you to sign up, subscribe to my channel. I try to put out new content pretty frequently, and I'm trying to put some really helpful stuff out, and I really appreciate all the positive feedbacks that I'm getting from everyone. And I just realized that I have a visitor to my craft studio. The land shark is here. Okay, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a happy Halloween. Bye bye. Take care.